Alrighty, PG-13. This is G.I. Joe. And today we're going to try to discuss, was there how many tanks in the G.I. Joe line? Now, up to the 2000s, I think there's about 20. And we're going to try to touch upon a few. I don't think we'll have enough time, but the first tank that they made was the 1982 M.A.S.H. Now, it was a motorized battle tank. It did have a couple settings. So you could push it backwards for reverse and forwards, and right and left. I don't know if this... There we go. Hopefully this is not worn out, but I got 3 of these. So. And it also had a tow behind, so you could tow behind your vehicles. So it did take a couple batteries. And it came with driver Steeler. And Steeler did come with an Uzi. There's a straight arm version of him as well. And the 1.5 version. So you could see this was a basic simple tank. They didn't improve it. Meaning, they could have extended it more and made the extra hatches. And even used like maybe a smaller motor. Because you know how RC vehicles are. They've come a long way since back in the 80s. And the sad part is that they're going to make Optimus Prime into a Mobat. Is that Mobat going to be motorized, or are they going to leave out the real features of the Mobat? The whole point of the Mobat was that it was battery powered and that it had rubber tank treads. Now, after the Mobat came Slugger. And Slugger came with driver Thunder. And this was one of my favorites because obviously, didn't take batteries, so if you didn't have batteries, your tank was just dead in the water. And it had some features here where this is supposed to come down and be like a stabilizer, so when it fires, heavy artillery. But the cartoon always shows it was like shooting like a laser. So, and a lot of people use this to clear debris. This little back bumper. Kind of cool. And I love this. I did play with this until the wheel broke. And it's got a little hatch cover, another little machine gun, and an engine cover with engine detail. Now, what came after the 1984 tank was the 1985 Mauler with driver heavy metal. One of the common parts that's always lost is the microphone, and well, you can always buy a reproduction one. The Mauler had the same issue. Once the batteries are dead, the tank just sat dead in the water. So it would have been cool if there was a neutral setting on the tanks, whereas if the batteries didn't work, And it would have been cool if the Mobat was made in a similar size as this awesome Mauler tank. Because the Mauler tank is 2 hatches, you could fit 2 figures in here, but you couldn't put a figure in the top hatch. Which is kind of stupid. You think in a tank you want to have a figure sticking out the top. So can they improve this? Yes. And now it also had like a spare rim or something that went onto the switch. So obviously the switch goes forward, backwards, and reverse. I don't know if it went side to side. This goes straight into the paddle. Anyways, let me know in the comments if this thing actually does make any turns. And the fact that, way back in the 80s they had remote control vehicles. Why wasn't this remote control or the Mobat? Like, that would have made a huge difference. I think they came out with that racing vehicle for the Joe line. I didn't get that yet. But anyways, also in 85 they came out with the Armadillo. And there is obviously more versions of this as well. So it's hard to exactly count exactly how many tanks there is in the G.I. Joe line. but I'm sure, you know, someone could take the time and tell me, or I might just try to look through and see, because I'm at about 20 something tanks and I haven't gone through all the 2000s. So, but anyways, we don't have as much time, so we're gonna go next into the 1987 Persuader. And this was a cool vehicle, more like futuristic, as well as it actually had some missiles, you know. It had some missiles in the vehicle, and it came with a driver up backstop. And you know, this is a cool vehicle, you know. It's got 10 wheels, 5 on each side, and you can still tow stuff from behind. So this was a fantastic vehicle. This is, oh, oh no, we're having a malfunction. Our missiles are caught. He just blew himself up. So, anyways, these missiles clip on the side. Sometimes the clips do break. Oh, it's always good to have extra spares. And well, I do have a couple of these tanks. I love them. Now, sorry, there is a weak part on these tanks. You know, they do wear out here and there. So some of these tabs do break. But oh well. Just like on the Slugger, that is a weak point. You know, some of the ratchet part slowly dies out. But it just rolls on. Now, I don't know how far we're gonna get. Now, would you consider the Havoc a tank? Because that also, I think, it should be considered as a tank. And well, but they should have made, you know, instead of Confederate, they should have been the Union guy. Confederate should have been the opposite. And someone in my other video was saying that there was no African American drivers. Well, there was one. I thought there was two, but there was one that came with the Transformer crossover. The Ostriker. But anyways, this Havoc is a tank, because that's just more of a futuristic tank. Now, I can't go into all the features on this, but we're trying to get through a few tanks, because there's so many to get through. So we went backwards here. The Havoc was 86, the Persuader's 87. There's also the Dominator snow tank that did separate into two, and we're gonna have to take some tanks off of here. We don't have enough space. Should have did this on a large table. So the Dominator, that was a cool Arctic tank that split in two, and then a smaller tank came out. And even for the Battle Force line was also another tank, but that would have been, well, that's the Pulverizer, and that would have been 89. So there is the smaller version, you know, small version, Pulverizer. It's got a cool, I did love this tank. And, you know, these are mini tanks, but they're kind of cool. Now, there was the Equalizer and the Lynx in 89 as well. And the Equalizer looked pretty fantastic. But, you know, again, it's too small. I mean, you know, they should have made this bigger. They should have just made a Mauler body like they did for the Equalizer. So, you know, like, that could have evened out the tanks. This gun should have been on the Equalizer. So the Lynx, and then we have the Equalizer. Now this tank is awesome, but I think it's more of like, what would you say, anti-aircraft, because it's got these twin cannons, you know. But this is a fantastic vehicle, and it should have had the Mauler tank. Like, it should have just been a Mauler without the batteries. That would have been an awesome tank. And the Lynx, you know, you could have put something else on it. So I don't think we're going to get through all this. So there's a 91 Brawler I don't have. I have the 93 Sonic Boom tank, just a parts one. And again, that's a smaller tank, but you know, it was cool. However, it's open canopy, like most of the Joe tanks. So anyways, The Sonic Boom tank was a good tank to get. Then there was the Iron Panther in '95. We also missed the 88 Night Force Night Blaster, which is the one that looks like worms. worms. Cobra worm tank. But anyways, this is a Joe tank, but I just made it into Cobra. And the Iron Panther is a fantastic tank to get. But it's '95 and it's Sergeant Savage, so does this count as a real American hero? It was going to be. But then, you know, some idiot, not idiot, but one of the main guys in the G.I. Joe marketing team decided to change the scale of figures, and that's what killed the line. You dumbass. So the Equalizer was a cool tank to have. And well, there is other vehicles that did come out. There was the, again, the Slugger in '97. Then there was another M.A.S.H, which was awesome, but it came with 2 figures. So again, you know, it came with heavy duty. I don't have the original figures, and it came with another figure. They changed the names. I think they called them Thunderwing, which was also named after a vehicle. So anyways, there's the 2000 M.A.S.H, and the '98 M.A.S.H is the same one. And what other Night Force was there? There's 2002 Brawler Night Force, and then there's 2003 Grizzly. That's it. And which one didn't we talk about? I think we covered pretty much most of the tanks for those years. So we went through like 20 tanks. There's a Sky Patrol Havoc, that's in 1990. So it's just in chrome. There's the Night Storm, we talked about that. That's like the Cobra Worms tank. I forget the name of that right now. We're just looking at too many here. So that gives you an idea that there's about 20 tanks, but there wasn't tanks in every year. So could they have improved the tanks? I would say yes. You know, a lot of these vehicles seem like they're just slapped together and rushed out. You know, the Persuader, that seems like it was all different molds. But then you got like the mashup where they just mix crap together and say, oh, this is a tank. So did Hasbro do a half-ass job on some of this stuff? I would say yes, because they could have improved it big time. Anyways, what's your favorite tank in the line? Let me know. And I mean, it would have been a Mauler if it would have had a neutral setting, so you could just slide it along, because this had rubber treads, this one had rubber treads, you know. And then some of them, just the tank treads didn't move whatsoever. But, you know, I guess I do love a lot of these tanks, but I'm not sure exactly which one would be my favorite, seeing as I did get the Iron Panther. But when I was a kid, one of my favorites was Slugger. So, like I said, I played with that till the wheels fell off. And I did love the Persuader. I do have a few of them. But, you know, the M.A.S.H, you know, it was without the batteries, it didn't move. The other one, the little Armadillo tank, that was fantastic because it just rolled on. So you got a whole bunch of these, and you know, they could easily be knocked over or blown up in battle. So I do love the Battle Force tanks. They're cool as well. There's too many tanks for me to decide on which is my favorite, but I think we could